introduction of the Executive Director, I would like to request to all please stand up on our feet as we take the national anthem and the opening prayer.
Please, let's start with the national anthem before the opening prayer. After the count of 2, 1, 2, go. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's follow this our father's land, with love and strength and faith, the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve without our mind, one nation bound in peace and unity. While remain standing, let's take the opening prayer. Is the second stanza of the national anthem after the count of 2, 1, 2, go. Lord of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders' rights, help our way to truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living justice and truth, great blessing, where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. Addition program on the Maritime Labor E-Plan Identity SID portal is taking place today at the Rockville Hotel this morning. So we'll go straight into the program of the day. We'll start with recognition. We'll start with the DG CEO NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamo, represented today by the Executive Director of Maritime Labor and Capital Services, Honorable Victor Ochei. Please, a round of applause for him. Next is the head Maritime Labor Services is the one representing the Executive Director. He is taking the place of the Executive Director since the DG is now around. So, Mr. Lawan, please a round of applause for him.
I disagree with you, I'm here myself.
So, okay, he will be standing for...
Don't worry, I'm here at my capacity as well.
Okay, my apologies, and thank you very much, sir. We have Mr. Amos Kuje, he is the head Seafarers Division. Thank you. The head Maritime Labor Services, please make your way to me. Okay, sorry, my apologies. The Director of Cabotage Services, NIMASA, Mrs. Rita Urapa. Please a round of applause for her. My apologies, ma'am.
You come to the high table.
Madam, please make your way to the high table. Mr. Ahmed Lawan, please make your way to the high table.
The rep, please, if you're here, kindly come forward. Where's Merchant Navy? Are they here?
Merchant Navy representative for opening remarks by the head. No, it's opening remarks. Opening remarks by the head Maritime Labor and Capital Services.
Morning, you are welcome to this very important event. The Executive Director, Maritime Labor and Capital Services, the Director, Cabotage Services, the President, Maritime Workers Union, the Presidency Port Terminal Operators Association of Nigeria, Chief Owners Association of Nigeria, Registered Seafarers Employers, Merchant Navy Officers and Water Transport Senior Staff Association, National Association of Drilling Operations, Association of Mining and Mining Agents of Nigeria, Association of Jetty Operators, my fellow colleagues and other stakeholders. You are welcome to this very important event. This is an event that we have been waiting for a long time. If you recall, most of our operations are done manually. This is the beginning of digitization of our operations. With the e-portal, the agency will be able to monitor the operations in all the zones through the e-platform, where shipping ship owners and several operators will register their members through the e-portal. It is very important in the sense that the issues will be attended as Adeyanju. We wish you happy deliberation, and then we always welcome we welcome every suggestion you will make to improve the portal, because what we intend to do today is for you to look at the structure of the portal and see whether there is any addition or subtraction that we need to do before we put it to use. Thank you.
Another round of applause for him. Putting all this together over. Next on the program is keynote address by the Director General CEO NIMASA. Thank you.
Maritime Legal Services, our own President General of the American Workers Union, Africa. Look at the flow now. I'm gonna go rock me tomorrow. Like this. The President of the National Association of Stevedoring Operators, himself, President Mr. Bolaji here. The President of STOAN, ably represented by no other but one of the strongest, the man who is in charge of all their books. I think representative of the mining thank you. The mining agents here. Our dear merchant navy here present. And indeed, some of you who are yet to arrive are wonderful stakeholders. Let me welcome you all specially to this very important sensitization engagement. Now, the program is aimed at doing a very simple thing. The world over, the maritime domain and industry is moving at a pace that is unprecedented, and Nigeria and indeed our own industry cannot afford to lag behind. Yes, there may have been lapses, there may have been areas where expectations are quite high. The fact is, we are trying to let you know we are well abreast of it, and we are going to ensure we get there. However, the speed may not be at the speed of light, but with your cooperation, you can go faster than what is being anticipated. And one of those special areas is the seafarers identity document, which I must confess the President General of MWUN, but for his calmness, would have set NIMASA on fire if we had not gone ahead with this. But he's been very cooperative. He's been giving us the push, he's giving the nudge. He has always ensured that we must get this working now or never. So let me openly appreciate you for your candor, yet calm but forceful in ensuring that this must come to fruition. I'm glad today that we are here gathered to discuss and sensitize the stakeholders on this very important maritime labor e-platform, where everything, you can sit in the comfort of your homes, right from your phones, and you can access the maritime labor e-platform and do your transactions. You don't need to come to us, you see it, that everything can be done online. And I think that's where the world is going today. And this is just also assure Mr. President General and the legal stakeholders that this is the beginning of the SID. The document itself, seafarers in no time will run like all others internationally, where your ID cards are made, you're registered. As you're getting it, You're hitting the portal of the Nigerian identification, what I mean, and then the immigration is also connected to it. And the moment your card is printed, it's like your mass version in this year, 2021. In the same vein, I want to thank the management led by Dr. Bashir Jamu. He's on it and is very eager to ensure that the seafarer's identity document comes to life, and that in no time, that is one key area of achievement that his administration must see come to fruition, and that is working. And every seafarer, we are committed to ensuring that our seafarers are ranked as good as, if not better than the ones they have in other climes that will have the same kind of maritime domain being shared. I must at this point appreciate him, and of course the executive management. Let me just quickly do a small remark, which is from my office on, because basically the engagement is for you, the stakeholders. I wish I'll be the one sitting down to answer the questions, but the experts are here. We'll let you know what is on board. And indeed, it is not a product that is completely finished. That's the beauty of the platform we have today. And engaging the stakeholders will mean that whatever you have now, you have the right, and you can suggest or modify, bring improvements upon, so that this platform will be user-friendly, and of course it's one that is well-known and is accustomed to the stakeholders. Basically, this is why this engagement is being called today. Let me quickly just read what I have put down. It is with great sense of duty that I welcome our esteemed maritime stakeholders to this important sensitization meeting. The e-registration and seafarers identity document (SID) platform was conceived towards achieving the agency's mandate as stipulated in Section 27A of the NIMASA Act 2007. It is also in line with the agency's policy on automation of its processes and procedures. This process will eliminate the delays associated with submission and processing of applications. Essentially, maritime labor employers can register or renew their registration from the comfort of their offices without stress. Similarly, dock workers and seafarers can also register without visiting NIMASA. This sensitization forum, therefore, is part of the activities of the agency towards the implementation of the Maritime Labor Services Department e-registration and seafarers identity document platform. It is meant to introduce the platform to seafarers, dock workers, and their employers. The sensitization will also provide opportunities for stakeholders to make input towards improving the automation processes. Consequently, I urge every one of us to feel free to ask questions when and where necessary. I'm not just asking questions, please make inputs, modify when you have to modify. It is not cast on stone, because the platform is for you, and what you feel will help make it easier. Please feel free to make those suggestions, because it's actually our own platform. It's not for, it's everybody, every stakeholder here has a hold and has a right to the platform. Therefore, please make it as seamless and as free as it can be by your inputs and modifications. To further achieve the expected gains of this meeting, stakeholders in all our zones will be given equal opportunities to express their views on the automation process with a view to improving on it. I want to thank you for being worthy parties in progress, and I wish you very happy deliberations. Thank you.
The representative of the Director General, please another round of applause for him. Before we say the industry is going electronic, and NIMASA cannot afford to lag behind. So we need the contribution of all maritime industry operators to ensure that NIMASA carry out this effectively and efficiently. Thank you very much. So next on the program is remarks by Association of Maritime Industry. So we'll take it first from Seaport Terminal Operators Association of Nigeria, STOAN, Mrs. Vicky Hartrop. She is represented today. Thank you very much. Do we have a rep in the house? Okay, if not, we'll move straight to the next. Is registered seafarers employers of Nigeria. Do you have a representative in the house? Okay. Okay, we'll go straight to the next one. Nigerian Merchant Navy Office and Water Transport Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Engineer Bob Yousuo. I think he's represented today by John Okoyo. He's the General Secretary.
Good morning, all. My name is Comrade Aleakhue John Okono, the Secretary General of Nigerian Merchant Navy Officer Water Transport Senior Staff Association, representing my President, who is unavoidably absent today because of his schedule. First and foremost, I want to tell them my reserve apology for coming a bit late for this program. Starting along the existing protocol, I want to appreciate the Director General, ably represented by the Executive Director of Maritime Service and Cabotage. This is what we, the seafarer group, have been waiting to hear. At your opening remark, you appreciated one of the biggest man in the maritime, which is the priest. Yes, that is maritime workers for you. Anywhere they are, they're always trying their best. And remember, when maritime workers union speaks, directly or indirectly, Merchant Navy is there. It is one. So it's just like a marriage. 1 + 1 is equal to 1. Maritime workers union plus Merchant Navy is always one. We cannot be divided and we're always united in purpose. So today we want to appreciate the agency for this remark. For those of us who have been in the industry, we know that this has come some time ago, and we don't know, something happened along the line. It is our prayer that this has come to stay as we wish them well, and we give them a maximum completion to ensure that this exercise has come to stay. And it has been said, it is an open exercise. It is not going to be rigid, it's not concluded, so it keeps our record. So we will try our best to assist the agency in any way we can do to make maritime sector a better place. Like every other sector, what they do today is It's electronic, it's a global world. Nobody go manual. Nobody is interested in this hectic way of doing things. So this note, we appreciate the NIMASA, and we pray that God, who has given us wisdom to commence this, will see us through. Thank you, and God bless.
Before the next speaker takes the microphone, I would like to say Isoweto. Africa. Isoweto. We all know he has contributed so much to the growth of the maritime industry. His face is not new, neither is his name new to our ears. I'll invite him straight to make his speech. He's no other person than the President of the Maritime Workers Association of Nigeria, President General of the Maritime Workers Association of Nigeria. Comrade Adewale, please a round of applause for him.
Isoleto. East Africa.
Isoleto. My DG.
Respected Honorable engineer, doctor, professor, lawyer, in all with driven caps, the director of Maritime Labor Service, my dearest sister, and Rita, and all other stakeholders here. I don't know their names. Well, my brother, I want to thank you for this gigantic project. It is our project. And this project has been on for some times now, where we came in on board and found that the SID for seafarers and that of the dock workers, their biometric ID card, have been expired. And we keep on pushing, like Maga said, that there's need for us to work together. I believe that a driver without a driver's license is not a professional. Those are the words that I used to tell Magaji. I think my brother, the president of NASO, they have changed the name to NASO. I'm sorry, I will tell you your name, NASO. Because we need to work together, we are working together. I want to say very good thanks to you, sir. NASO and Maritime Workers Law of Nigeria, we are being long. We cannot do without them because they are the employers of the job workers. And this registration of biometric ID card is a key for job workers all over Nigeria. There's advantage and disadvantage on it. Disadvantage is what I'm going to talk later, sir. Where you know that job workers branch and job workers, they are peculiar. Peculiar in the sense that when you introduce this kind of a gigantic project, some of them that have left the industry for 10 to 15 or 20 years would like to key into it. Those are the disadvantages we are envisaging. We cannot continue to rock the boat anymore. What we are seeing today is a global content that everybody all over the world, you can be here talking to the President of America, and Nigeria we cannot still remain in the olden days time. We've already supported this program, and it's our project, and the project will not fail. Amen. And we are not going to fail in the project. But the union will continue to support and make sure that the one that is going to help us is the issue of practical or physical verifications. Yes, I will register online, but I want to appeal to my DG that there's need for us to carry out physical verification in line with the e-registration. Why I'm saying this is this. There are some retirees in seafarers. There are some retirees in dock workers that have left the industry for more than 10 to 15 years. They might use it against the agency in the nearest future. Yeah. That they are all members of dock workers, they are members of seafarers. So we should be very, very careful that there's need for the employers of labor. Maybe my president is here. Terminal operators, they're all here. That there's need for us to carry out physical verifications. Yes, I can key online and register. Do you know me? You need to identify me with employers of labor who engages me at this present time. Because those ones that have retired 10 years ago, some of them are still in court, still fighting for what? For their rights. The moment this thing is open to the whole world, they will key into it. And what we are trying to avoid, in terms of insecurity in the port, in terms of crisis in the port, we come in. We are going to support this project, and I want to sincerely thank you and Mr. DG for being proactive on this project. Yes, I will have turned the boat upside down. But as a captain who would like to sail smoothly without causing crisis, I manage it with the word of advice from you, with your word of advice from my sister Tirita, and my brother is just coming in now. I want to thank all of you that the union will continue to support this project. The union will support you because I even directed all the president of the two branches. Dock workers president is here, seafarers is here, that they should prepare the names of the recent employees that are working under an employer. By the time we are compiling them together, we will not meet the drafts. It's a word of an advice from the union, because we will not allow anybody to take us one another. So on behalf of Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, we sincerely thank you. Appreciate your leadership quality. Well, I cannot doubt you. Somebody that's a professor in all fields. Lawan is managing all of us. Managing the union cautiously. I will be managing you too cautiously.
You are mother.
If I give an ultimatum, what you normally do is to send my liaison officer to me that we don't need this. This is our country. This is Nigeria. Yes, we don't have another country than this country. If the country capsizes today, all of us are going to capsize with it. So there's need for us to work together. And we will continue to engage you constructively. The union of today is so scientific that we can call you on the Google, on WhatsApp. We don't believe in fire brigade approach anymore. But that does not mean that the slow walking of the lion is not by timidity. We want some of the employers not to put their fingers into our mouth. Some of the employers, they are here, and I will not mention their name. This is another exercise that is going to give them role on this issue. Where are they coming from? Where are we now? Where do you find ourselves? Global content are taking place all over the world, and we are ready to key into this project. Thank you, and God bless everybody.
Isoleto. Africa. In his word, he said, the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria will support to ensure that this project is a success. Thank you very much, the President General. Also seated on the high table is the National Association Stevedoring Operators, the National President, Mr. Bolaji Sunmola. Please, a round of applause for him.
To speak after the powerful delivery of the PG, sure, it was a challenge, but it's a burden, as they said. On that note, let me quickly say good morning, sir. The Engr representative of the DG, our wonderful, indefatigable, hard-working director that I don't think we have one of his kind in the last few years. I can say that without missing words, because we have to relate with that department every time it comes into being. It's a pleasure being here with you. I thank God for this auspicious day for launching this in your time. Also permit me to appreciate, I'll stay on what my brother, Auntie Rita. Auntie Rita has always been around. Yeah? I'm putting you on the spot. Wonderful too, wonderful personality. We have to relate with you. And then welcome on board our new director. It's a pleasure seeing you. Even though we've not come for a courtesy visit, you know it's the travels of times, going here and there. But we welcome you aboard. And we know, saying you are not a stranger in this department. You've always been around, and we look for a good time with you. And standing on all existing protocols, good morning, able DPG, everyone, wonderful faces I've seen. On behalf of NASO, and this is our first outing as our new name depicts, permit me to digress, the great National Association of Stevedoring Operators. It's a great delight to see that our regulator, our main regulator, came out to invite us on this. It's a great, great pleasure. It shows that NIMASA is really, really working and keeping up with the trends of times. Our name change is very technical, it's very expedient, it's very operational, and it's like keying into the events we are having today. Biometrics, e-registration, that's what this union has been yearning for many years, not just today. And I want to thank for their doggedness and for NIMASA being a listening organization too. And that's why I made that remark of our very hard-working PD. I'm sure listening to them and seeing that today came into being. Why e-reg? Why biometrics? I think it's falling in line with international best practices. Many things have gone and changed in world standard operations that we are still leaving behind. Every year in year out, say for the year of COVID, we go to ILO for meetings and all that. And then you have that Nigeria has not ratified some of the agreements that already been put and that have been put in place. But this is one of the ratifications we are seeing being operational. It's a big kudos to the maritime industry. It's a big thing that could happen. And I say a big thank you all the time. Our thanks can never be enough. Because it's like giving us a big leapfrog into our works. Yes, some questions will arise, some issues will arise, but that will not deter us from seeing that this work is actually done and done right. It's a wonderful thing to do, a great thing to do. And I want to key into what the PG said, the issue of verification, because that could be a tricky issue. It's important that is looked into, okay? Because the maritime workers are yesterday, today, and of the future. And to be able to marry these three things together will help us a very good deal. It's about keeping records, because the records that you keep, that you are going to give to others. And once they have that card, you know what it means? It says a lot. It's a national or international identity. It's an international identity. I'm sure the DG will be the number uno which he will carry to. Anytime he's going to the conference in Iowa and Geneva and all these places, and they can key it and see, is this a genuine person as it is? And it's going to place Nigeria on the world space map that we can imagine the level of information that can come up from it. We as the employers are very happy to be in this, and we are ready to give our cooperation because it's going to help us in great deal too. I know a little bit of work still going to be done. Vis-a-vis, how is it going to work with the pool and pool system and all that, that has to be worked out. On behalf of my executive, the National Association of Seafaring Operators who are ably represented there, the Deputy Governor and Governor Executive and the President are there, I want to say thank you for implementing this. We look forward to its immediate implementation too, and that we can move forward from there. Thank you, and let us have a moment.
Thank you very much for that interesting speech. Is the maritime regulators piece of yesterday, today, and also of the future. Thank you very much. Next is the Association of Mining Agents of Nigeria representing. Okay. Please hand over the maritime. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I will stand on existing protocol. And I'm Mathew Idowu, Orion Marine, representing AMCAN. I must say AMCAN is highly delighted on the step that NIMASA has taken. That's been long coming, and we are so happy that we are witnessing the takeoff of this program now. A lot has been said already by my big bosses on this side, and I want to say, just like MWUN and the Merchant Navy, AMCAN also is strategically positioned to mobilize seafarers to get involved in this program, and we are going to do a lot in supporting the NIMASA by mobilizing seafarers, because we are gateway for the seafarers to the maritime industry too, just like Maritime Workers Union and the Officers Association. They have direct contact with us, we engage them, we manage them, and we'll be able to use our position also to mobilize them to effectively participate in this program. Because in the long run, mass mobilization will be a key thing to make this program successful. And having said that, we also want to encourage NIMASA that so much has been done, but sustaining the program is another thing. We know the challenges in Nigeria. Internet penetration may still be low, and maybe on and off, whatever switch on the platform. But NIMASA will need to do so much more also to ensure that the program is sustainable. It will require so much, maybe in terms of staff that will be managing that, or the equipment that we will need to make sure it works. If the seafarers or the dock workers are not getting it easy to access, and they have to wait for too long before they can process their registration, it could discourage them, and then the program itself may not be a success. So we would like NIMASA to look in that and make sure they give the necessary inputs that will make that work for the good of all of us. We won't say much, but we will just promise that AMCAN will fully support this program, and we will see it through as a success. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your words. Thank you, the Executive Director, Director, Head of Unit and Head of Department, the President General, MWUN, thank you also for your time, and now the Head of Maritime Regulators, stakeholders of the maritime industry, my distinguished colleagues, thank you for your time. At this junction, I'll hand over the microphone to Mr. Emmanuel. He will tell us, he will tell us how we go about the TV. Thank you.
Please just put your hands together for the MC. In maritime labor, we believe in engagement, we believe in partnership, hence this sensitization. And going by the address of our ED and the remarks made by the various leaders and representatives of the associations and unions, it's an indication that all hands are on deck to make this a success. Having done this first phase, which I would say is the theoretical aspect, the second phase is going to be the practical aspect, where we are going to engage, cross the T's, dot the I's, and ensure that all we have discussed here today is accomplished. But before we go into that section, we'll just take a little break, take a cup of tea, stretch our legs, just to reinvigorate ourselves and get ready for the practical exercise, because it's going to require us to think, talk, and do all we have to do.
On the e-platform that we want to embark on, the idea is in line with the NIMASA Act, particularly in section 27. The very first paragraph of that section talks about the registration of dock workers, seafarers, and employers, and so on and so forth. You can't register without issuing an identity. It's a foundation for us to continue relating and ensuring anything that pertains to their living, working conditions, manpower planning, capacity building, and so on. We have to register them. So that is on the part of e-register. And for you to qualify to have SID, of course SID is for seafarers only. For you to qualify, you must be registered with NIMASA. And for you to register with NIMASA, you must have it that you have qualified. So we are going to see that in a few minutes. For the dock workers, it has been said, yes, it's also in line with the NIMASA Act. You have to register them. Manpower planning, training, and so on and so forth. So, the process is here because we are all a mutual beneficiary of the process. So, every step to be taken, you must be carried along. So that is the idea. And for the e-platform, before we go in there, one other key thing again that has been said: awareness, mobilization of members, of the dock workers, of the seafarers to key into it. That's one essence here. And in the whole process, we have about 5 compartments of what comprises of this exercise, so that at the end of the day, when you come out, you'll be issued with the ID card or be recognized as a register. It's not only for seafarers and dock workers, it's also for the employers as well. The first compartment out of the 5, the very first one is enrollment. And the essence of this is to mobilize as much as possible to enroll seafarers, dock workers, and employers. You enroll, that means going online, completing the form. The next thing you submit, when you meet all the requirements, is friendly. During the process, you interact, is very friendly. And in the third compartment, which is verification and authentication, to allay the fear of PG when he mentioned about physical verification. We are aware very well we have existing registered dock workers and seafarers. Existing. The same thing, existing seafarers, employer, terminal operators, stevedoring company that are in our data. So, the 2 processes are, if you're existing, there is a process because we already have your number, and again to address the idea that it's not open to everyone to go online and complete, meaning that with the information we already have about you and registered, and you have number that we've issued you before, will provide the process of access into the platform. So we've addressed that, which means you're already in existing. For a new dock worker, seafarer, or employer who is registering for the first time, you go through the hop of meeting the requirement for registration. We verify, you go through the process. The existing one means that they met that requirement earlier on, that's why they have a number. So these are the 2 things we are going to see in the e-platform. On the physical verification, because if you complete and submit, similar, just like your NIN, that you went through that process, you have a slip. And with that slip, we now go for physical verification and biometric capturing. We have worked out the plan for that. In Tripartite, we'll be doing that. This idea of Tripartite has come to stay. And that's the approach of addressing a labor issue. After this today, there is an action plan that has been drawn out. For dock worker, for example, when the platform is now live, up and running, we will, together with the employer, the employee, dock worker representative, and so on, because before then we mapped out our plan. It's going to be done simultaneously. In Apapa, for instance, we have a place there. You've already complete the form and upload your details. We now have the slip. Go to ENL terminal, for instance. So all the dock workers that are there that have done so, you come for physical verification and capturing. So, if you are not up to date, and if you are not in the register, we will find out. In fact, as we commence now, the companies have been submitting an update of what is actually in the register. So that's to allay the fear of the PG and many others. So that will be adequately addressed. So this is the process. We'll go through this, like I said, on the third compartment, talking about authentication and verification. We in the agency will do our own due diligence. Whatever document you submit, and we have the need to authenticate with the issuing authority, we'll do that. You can't be registered and issue with a number until you go through those processes. And we are sure that whatever you submit is valid, is authentic. Of course, we know the challenges even around those kind of issues. And then, when you go through that, you are registered and you'll be issued a number. Of course, seafarer dock workers, for your registration, you are going to have an identification that you register with NIMASA. Every one of them. For companies who register, you register to have a license to participate as mining agents, stevedore company, terminal operator, as the case may be. That is simple, straightforward. And of course, having satisfied every processes, then you'll be issued with either ID or the certificate. So this is the processes. Now we're going to go through the e-platform. And of course, before then, let me bring this to your information again that already the agency had deployed the systems. What I mean by system, where we're going to be doing this to our port offices. So we'll go to port office by port office to relate with them, getting things ready while we are putting that action plan into place. And so you need not go to another place. If you are in Apapa Port, for instance, and you complete your form and you submit, our port office covering that area, we cover the dock workers there. Tinkan Island, the same thing. For seafarers that have uploaded, they can go to any of our zonal office for capturing all across the country. We have not uploaded this live now. In the spirit of Tripartite, in the spirit of taking some input from you, after this, we will now have the need to add or subtract before it will go live, and then we commence the process. So I believe if you have any question, maybe after the presentation or showing of the e-platform, as well as the SID, then we can take that. Thank you. That's for the e-platform. Do we take SID or we take question on this? Then we look at that one. Question and answer on this. Someone is there?
My name is Aliyu, ADNS from Safety Department. I have questions about the seafarers. What makes you a seaman? Your certificate, valid certificate. And you know your certificate is 5 years. After 5 years, if you don't upgrade, you have to revalidate. But for ex-seafarers that they cannot upgrade or revalidate, that means you will not be able to capture them. And that goes to the Merchant Navy Officers Association. They are out of the system. From this platform, they will be out of the system. And it's going to affect somebody like me too. I'm still a seafarer. And I'm working with the NASO. I'm still a seafarer. I will not be able to register as a seaman. So we need to look at it from that angle.
Use next. Another question from the presentation. Okay.
Same question from the officer. All of the ratings, existing ratings, the one that existed before all the new seafarer people, there's some people on ground before. How can we register on this platform?
Thank you. One more person.
My name is Greg Sekui from Tripartite Continental Maritime. Just a general question. In all the presentations, supposing I make an error and I want to edit, there's no provision for editing. There's no provision for editing.
Now this question down. Any other questions? Stakeholders, okay.
My name is Bolaji, But my question is, suppose we have a new dog worker wanting to come in, how will they go about it? A new dog worker now is not in the, he had not been in the system and is just coming in. So how will they go about it?
This SID had launched to slaughter and fight. I could remember some of us were there when Mr. King, and we registered. So please, we want the matter to engage in issues the ID card to us to see better. Because some of us we went on for when we went abroad, we saw what happened. Why is the other contact some other countries are enjoying it? Why is the Nigerian own is today? So please, no matter.
Good afternoon, everyone. My conscience goes to the situation I received just observed just now. When we know that to be a seafarer, or to be a qualified seafarer, there are so many things. One, I can see that from the demonstration, here someone can fill in the application form and other documents. All I know now, in Nigeria here, or in NIMASA, for you to be a qualified seafarer, and all the certificate that you have, there are 3 things that you have to do. 1, seafarers registration form or SID. Second, SID registration form. After completing these 2 things, there are one more thing that a seafarer has to undergo again, which is called status of registration. So I'm asking now from the agency, what does NIMASA do to harmonize it, to simplify it, that a seafarer is not going to follow that process, seafarers registration form, SID form, and that registration form as well.
All those questions. The first one was on do I say existing seafarers or those who are still there? From Captain Ayeni, you are still a seafarer, but I want to believe you are not a regular sailing seafarer. You are still in the profession, so to say. You are now in the administration, is surveying and all of that, but you are a seafarer. So okay. Yes, we're coming to that. No doubt about it. Yes. Once a while, once a seafarer is always a seafarer. Like me, as an engineer, when it becomes necessary, I can go back on board. But you know very well, the standard of certification, training, and watchkeeping, I must meet that requirement, even though I have been a seafarer. You know very well. That is this thing. So, even me, I'm thinking of registering as well. So, I'm not registered yet. So, it's a very valid question. Yeah, it's a very valid question. Because you need them in one way, at one point or the other. No one is excluded. This form is meant for everyone. The only difference is that, just like what I said, is that you have documents that expire. What makes you a valid seafarer is that you know very well, I have to have the number of sea time, be eligible to upgrade my certificate, make sure they are up to date. This platform provides for that. Once you register and you have a number, because there's a duration when they give you the ID card, it will expire. Taking into consideration the timing
And also taking into consideration all the certificates that you need to have as a seafarer. I did mention something when we were talking about in the 5 compartments. First one, you enroll. Second one, you submit. The third one, verification and authentication. As long as you remain seafarer and you make these submissions and we verify or authenticate, of course, currently we cannot register a seafarer until we authenticate your COC and discharge those with safety. If it is other administration or flag states, we have to have access to that to do that. Until those things are done. So within the, supposing we gave you an ID card, first enrollment, and you have that ID card, within that period of before expiration or whatever, of course, if your document expires, the system will tell us. Within that time, you are not up to date. You will not be authenticated to continue to remain. You have to, just like in your COC or mandatory or whatever, once it's expired, you need to go back again and to be reissued to make sure you are there. Maritime level is like a bus stop. Bus stop means you went to school, you went to everywhere, you have everything, you come there where they link to the industry, link to the vessel shipping companies and so on. So it's expected that whatever you come, you meet that requirement. Of course, we'll update you, we'll update your record, and you still remain valid in the system. You will not be excluded. But as long as your documents are not up to date, or you didn't meet the requirement within the period of validity, that's where it is. But it has provided for that. Once you are enrolled, you remain a seafarer. I hope that will answer that question. And the second question talks about the rating or existing seafarers. I did mention that the platform in the very first beginning, it says, can you show the very first page? It says, register, okay. If you are fresh seafarer registry, it's a register as a seafarer. Go down, scroll down. Okay. If you see in that platform, the second in this third paragraph, it says already registered with NIMASA. That means if you are an existing seafarer, whether rating or officer, you have registered before and you have a number. That's why I did mention that. We are not going to carry those who already registered through the whole hawk of registration and this, because we have your data. Yeah, you remain, if you register before, in this process, because we are still going to capture your biometric and take your record and so on, in this process, you are going to be sent there, because already we have your telephone number, and so on. We are going to send you password to access and upload your documents so that you remain valid. If you're a new seafarer, you start newly, then you go through the whole process of authentication, completing until we are satisfied, and you now go into that. So they are covered. Ratings, officers, they are covered. Error for editing. We note that very, very important. But if you have completed, I think it did give an opportunity to edit, for you to check before submitting. I think they've explained that. Yeah? Before you submit, you have opportunity to go through and edit. Can you go through that? Update. So it's user friendly. I know learning by doing. As you get used to it, you have this just like other applications that we are used to. However, we take note of that. For the STUAN ENL, new dock worker, it's the same thing. The new dock worker, we mentioned something. For the dock worker, the result is not open. You go through companies. NIMASA has a requirement for registration as a dock worker. We work together with all our registered stevedoring company, terminal operator, they have that requirement. If a dock worker, through that requirement, he now comes, I want to start with ENL. You went through those requirements and shortlisted his name. He will go through the, let's go back there, that same first page. You go through that process. You can go through one of the terminal or stevedoring company. We show them the link. So you will ask him to go through that and register and fill it and upload his document. He will be register all the document or whatever he submits, authentication, verification. We have to do all of that. His registration is complete when NIMASA finally issued a number to him, an ID. So he has to go through the company as a new dock worker, provided you meet the requirement. Existing ones are the ones we are going to go through together with you. Physical verification, authentication, and so on and so forth. So that's on that. Yes, the SID has been launched some years back. True? Yes. And somehow, the main area that we've had a challenge is about the domestication of the convention. Of course, it's a process in our national law. You ratify, domesticate, and so on and so forth. So, I did mention something that the country is looking for. Yes, that process is still on. However, through the process of regulation is another way. And I know that has been done. We had a committee at the ministerial level, at the agency level, to do that. It doesn't stop us from commencing the process. Another point again, this convention, in fact, when it was amended, it has changed the future of the SID in terms of the infrastructure, the hardware, the software. I did mention something about immigration, because you now upgrade it to integrate with the immigration globally, not only Nigeria, by introducing features like electronic machine-readable travel document, whereby if a seafarer goes to an international airport or seaport where they have the facility to have information about his record, he can use that ID, swap through, to be able to read the information. That is the amendment, so to integrate it with, they call it International Civil Aviation Organization's document 9303. So that document spells details about the future and about the requirement. So it's a major amendment that has been done. In fact, USSR, that I know as #1 country who ratified and was implementing and issuing today, in the ILO list, they are not in the white list because of that amendment. So you can see. So today, Philippines, so far, is the only country that is in the ILO white list, having met the new amendment, the requirement. So we also find ourselves in the path. So it's still in order. And I agree with you, it needs to be readily available to seafarers, and no doubt this is the process that we have to go through, and is one of the platforms that we are going to present And in that, if you have filled the form, you are not, you registered, you went through the process. That's why, similarly, like what we did for the seafarer, you are an existing seafarer that have registered. So, you go through that same process, you are an existing one, provide password for you, you go in, you upload your document. At the same time, you capture your biometrics and your picture before the production and issuance. So it's still going to be done. I think that's status of registration SID form. I think I've answered. Did I leave any? There's someone there.
Good afternoon. My name is Cabotage from Marshall Navy. Your answer to Captain Ayeni's question, yes, the hole there. The hole is this. Everywhere, the people running Marshall Navy, they are retired seafarers. And if they have not revalidated their COC, as we have said, you will not capture them. So that means you are leaving them out of the system.
Let me correct
please,
this.
I want you to look at that and clarify.
Okay, fine. Once you are registered, your name remains in the data. That's what I said, eh? But if your documents are not valid within the period and within the period of validity, whether you are active or non-active, you will not be valid. And of course, you will not be registered. I mean, your record is there, but you are not registered or recognized as valid.
You are not seafarable.
You are not seafarable. You are not recognized as validity. We are talking about validity. So as long as you keep your document valid, you meet the requirement, your name will be there. That is it.
So you can update.
Yes, you can be updated. Once you start, this platform provides for anyone who says, I'm a seafarer. You can go in, fill the form, submit your document, you go through the process. And after we authenticate, we verify, you meet the requirement, you be registered and give it a number. That is.
What is the point that what Captain is saying? The ratings. Don't be surprised. If Federal bring cargo ship today, they will still need ex NNSL seafarer to operate the ship. Apart from the ratings are important. The X1, people like this man, see, I'm not going to ask him to go and do STCW now. He's not going to see, but he's still valid as a seaman. So separate registration and validity. Separate it outright. Seaman is a seaman. So if I want to go to sea, it's a different thing to register with NIMASA. Please get it right.
Let me clear something very clearly again. Let me say, like all of us were here, if we have access to that platform, we register. I mean, we can fill the form. So what makes us register and valid is that you meet the standard and you meet the requirement. You went through the process. I gave example of myself. As I am here now, I can't go on board the vessel. Why? I have my COC, okay? Other documents are not valid. I cannot go on board because they are not valid. So I must go back to meet the standard as of today. If I go there and enroll and fill, my data will be there. Within the period of that, if I meet the requirement, I'll be given an ID. If it expires, or even prior to expiration, because there are some documents that even say 2 years and so on. For instance, medical certificate. And I'm called to go on board a merchant vessel or supply vessel or anyone. The company check my document and say, you have everything or you don't have this. Will they allow me to go on board? So what I'm saying, it does not, you are separate, you are a seafarer, but your validity of your document is what keeps you current and makes you update to continue to operate or to serve.
Yes, I think
I've made that very, yes.
Well, my question is strictly to NIMASA.
Okay, sir.
And just like someone said earlier on that the process had commenced before, but we couldn't see the implementation level of it. I technically made mention of something close to that earlier on.
Okay.
Now, at what point, I know we're just starting into this, but we really need to know where is NIMASA going on this. Are we really getting to the point where we issue SIDs, or we just want to register the seafarers? I come in here to hear biometric machines are in western zones, they are in eastern zone or wherever, because I don't know the plan of NIMASA and at what level this will be done. But I know this may not be something headquarters will be able to manage, especially when biometric comes into play. It would overwhelm headquarters. So we don't know the plan. That's why I'm thinking about that. Okay. We've not heard so much about it, so that we rest our mind. If we just want to register and then we get something to show I'm a registered seafarer. Okay. Or we really want to go all out to get SID documents. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Yes, I quickly want to put in view the dual process of seamanship registration. I think there is something wrong there. You register as a seaman, you register for SID. There is a diversification. If you are a seaman, there is a process of registration. Just like you want international passport, you want driving license. Yes. And as long as NIMASA carry out that registration on a seaman, they authenticate everything, don't be capturing and everything, because the details you give for registration is the same details you will give for SID. So I think NIMASA should go back, harmonize this thing, bring it into one, so that those who have registered before can be called upon to update, re-authenticate their airline registration, and as long as they are satisfied with that registration, they issue SID. Then this dual process. Don't forget, we paid for that registration as seamen.
Thank you, sir. Please, I want to ask. You see, COC or any other certificates, they have a valid years. Yeah. Now, at the point of registration, are they going to tie that ID, like he said, ID card or SIMA, are you going to tie it to that COC? If somebody is having like 2 years remaining on this or a COC, are you going to give him or her that 2 years? And how long is that ID card going to last? That's what I want to know.
Okay. Commercial slavery. So I want to thank you for this program for relieving us as seafarers. But my question was this: as my honorable have trusted that COC and CIV, the things that the two comes together, it should be, I think, to make things very easy for us. Because when I see that the requirements we have for COC, then we still need to revert to CIV. Then it will, I think it's SIV. So I just want us to think that NIMASA should try, because it's just a starting. Because this one will be able to be to carry over. It will be enough time. But now I just want us to see that COC and CIC comes together, SIU comes together to be one. Let it to be one. And again, I just want to ask that when we not add documents here like this on the platform, will this platform also help the seafarers in case they want to do some exams? Because most of the exams they used to have their verification, they have to come down before they go back again. We need for them to log in or to search for and to do any exam they want to do instead of coming on board, coming out and go back again. So please, I want us to make things very easy so at least people will not be more stressed. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good questions. SID and seafarer registration. In fact, we would have loved to have it as one. One, it will save cost. Side by side, instead of you register seafarer and then you go back and the convention, the standard says seafarer identity document is stand alone. Stand alone. If not, you would have seen SID inside Maritime Labour Convention 2006, because Maritime Labour Convention 2006 consolidates over 36 other conventions. But because they wanted to stand alone, that was stand alone in the convention, you cannot put them together. What is the reason? One, you know SID issue came as a result of what? 9/11, security challenge. And what they want to do, you can have, you are a seaman, someone can go and say, okay, I'm also a seaman. So how would I identify? Of course, you have a registered and so on and so on. It's to strengthen that level of security for the seaman and ensure that we're actually dealing with the seaman, with his right, with his shore leave, because the essence of that ID card, number one, for security of the seaman, is foreign seaport and all over the place. Number two, for shore leave in foreign seaport. Number three, for repatriation, and so on and so forth. So internationally, members of the ILO deem it fit that this convention should stand alone for reasons of security. So that's what the convention says. So that's why we cannot put it together just like any country. Go and check Philippines, anywhere. They don't. Once you have your qualification as a seafarer, you now apply for the SID. That is what the convention, and that is the standard. That's the reason. We are love, yes, just like what you say, it will save a load, but we have to go by that requirement. Validity of the IED, actually, we've not decided how long, how long that IED will last. That one is also in the sum, like this stakeholder, and this kick-starting, we're still going to meet again. We're looking at 5 years, we're looking at, and so on and so forth. So between that period, you know, this system, all the documents you submit, I gave an example, I say, medical, for instance, I say, 2 years, it expires. It will be telling you, we want the system in such a way, all your certificates that need to be validated, whether COC, mandatory, as the case may be, it's interactive. You know what you submit last, and you know what is the duration of that.
Always check and update.
Exactly, update. Possibility for update is there. So that will cover it. So within the period we issued you, before or after, as the case may be, your update will enable us keep you on. I think, did you ask any question?
No, sorry.
Okay. I think that's it.
Thank you very much, the head of Seafarers Division of the Maritime Labour Services. A lot have been said and time have spent, fast spent today. Thank you very much, stakeholders, my colleagues. A thank you to the heads for putting all this together. We appreciate you. It shows that the arms of the agency is moving in the right direction. Okay, at this point, we'll go to the next agenda we have. Overview of Seafarers Identity Documents, the SID registration portal. Okay, I don't know, maybe you display it on the screen. I don't know who's making this presentation.
Go ahead.
We'll just go ahead. Okay, my boss. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So,
we spoke so much about the SID, it's like just a continuation. The difference, again, let me continue again, is that since we say stand alone, you have to start everything through that process until you have the identity document. So in the front end of that SID, in the front end, first is a portal. You have to enroll. Like I said, even if you are qualified as a seafarer, you still have to go through the process of enrollment. It's the same thing like some of you have rightly observed. Your information about the portal is going to be uploaded live, and when that is done, yes, I'm a seafarer, I registered. The only difference is that there's some requirement that you have as a seafarer that will allow you also go through this, to be able to go through, register, and upload. For instance, the basic information. The basic information is still the basic information. Again, one mandatory requirement there, of course, when you go through the basic information, your name, you are registered as a seafarer and you have NIMASA registration number, you need that one as well. The national identity, the NIN number, that one is also there. Your next of kin and so on, all those information, there's still the same basic information that you have to complete. Aside from the basic information, the document, as a seafarer, you have to still prove that you submit them. Of course, that will also help like a check. You register as a seafarer, this platform will also enable us to check, to make double check about your data in the, that you've submitted as a seafarer, and then the one you submit for the SID. So some of those data will not take you through the hub if you register as a seafarer or whatever. So the basics one, basic document like NIN, sometimes that has to tie to the other agency, is very important. And I said, this link, because it is seafarer identity document, and because the convention now says integrate with the Nigerian Immigration Service, we will have that integration. What it means is that if we issue this SID to any of our Nigerian seafarer for the purpose of show leave in foreign port and all of that, even through our immigration here or any immigration, any country that ratify and issuing, they come to Nigerian port and we have the facility for immigration check, they'll be able to go through. And it also helps the immigration to issue them the show leave or show pass, as the case may be. So basically, like you rightly observed, same document, qualifications, and of course there should some other involvement or history. Okay, I've been a seafarer before. You look at where you are last, where you are today. As a seafarer, you can do some verification and authentication to ascertain that one. After everything you submitted and it's certified that it is okay, you upload your document. Like I said, in the process of NIN registration, every single of this, completion of this process, you have a slip with your picture. You now go to our office, and that reminds me of the question he asked about if we are doing it in the head office. No, it's not going to be only in the head office and so on. For the SID, we are going to have a production where it's going to be produced. But for the capturing, you fill and you submit, and you want to capture your biometric and your picture, you do it in Lagos here. You go to Warri, you can do it in Warri, you can do it in Port Harcourt, you can do it in Calabar, anywhere. Anywhere you think is near to you. The same thing on seafarers registration. Anywhere you submit and it's closer to you, you can walk in there, you take your biometric and your picture. For dock workers, since they are through the companies, the ENL dock workers will go there, or they come to our port offices for MWUN at the end of the day. But for the purpose of this exercise, within a time frame we have set for ourselves, we will work out through the action plan. There is an action plan, and tell ENL, for instance, this week, can you make available a place? We'll come there. So dock worker will just walk in there, take their biometric and upload their, at the end, all of them will have an ID. The ID as a seafarer identity document for seafarer, an ID for dock worker as a register with NIMASA as a dock worker. All will have an ID. So it's not just about the process of registration, as someone pointed out, it's about having an identity that will be issued. Physical hard copy identity. That's the process. Thank you very much. If there's any, we are ready to take again. Like we said, this is a kickstart of the process. What do we expect you? Awareness, mobilization for your members, dock workers to key in, and it will be a continuous interaction. And we're going all of it together under Tripartite. After this exercise, we're going to our port office. What I said that we already have in the port offices in Tinkan, in Apapa, is a system for the, we're going to, for capturing, for physical verification. That's what I said. So, but of course, for production, we're going to have a center for that production. All of us, we have started and we are together, and I believe nobody will be left behind. And we are doing it all together. And that's the essence of the exercise. And we thank you for the encouragement and the support and the commitment and the pronouncement. We believe we'll go together and to be a huge success. It will save a lot of things, security-wise, and so on and so forth. And confidence in our system as well. So thank you. If you have any question, it's not closed. We'll still be communicating at our meeting level with the stakeholders through your representative. Yeah. We draw out the action plan. Can you show me for it? Just a page. Let me show them. During that time, this action plan, we have now, within the period that it will come live, you'll be informed, and then you have informed your people, please complete and submit and whatever. After all that submission, then we are now going to the field for the physical verification together. So we have even draw up the action plan. Can you put just, let's show you how it looks like, and it is at this point that we'll be meeting in the offices, a date, we'll assign a date. The reason being that in Apapa, ENL will now tell, and all the terminal in Apapa will now tell the dock workers, they have, if each one has a date, maybe 3 days for a terminal, you prepare the dock worker for that period, it still does not end. It's for the purpose of the exercise within that period. The ones we're able to capture, the ones that are yet to be captured, they will continue. It has become a continuous exercise, just like any other platform. Okay? So that eventually we'll get everybody. So, but to set the target and put us to task, we set a period of time for us to do that exercise, to cover a number of times, for the fact that already we have an already registered dock workers and seafarers and so on. So, and all of them, like I said, once you've completed and you upload your listing, what do we want to do there? We want to have physical verification of the dock workers who brought, I say, oh, I have completed and now come for capturing. And then in the location where ENL, APNT, GDNL, ABTL, for instance, in Apapa. And who are those? Our Maritime Labor Department of the agency, the IT unit of the agency, the company that is going to do that, the terminal operator, the stevedoring company, Maritime Worker Union of Nigeria, Merchant Navy, and so on and so forth. So we sit down. So what is remaining there is the time, the date, and the time. That will just together we'll take that. So you can see this is a draft action plan of the next exercise. So what happened from here now? What happened from here is that going live, having taken this input, having looked at the system, we now upload it, inform you, tell them, let them be filling and uploading, and we meet, we finalize this action plan, and we go to physical verification. That's the process. So thank you very much for listening.
Another round of applause for him. You don't just see a man and give him the head of the unit or a department. He has shared with us for his wealth of experience. I've known him for over time for his up and doing and his commitment to ensure that the agency gets to achieve its goal and gets to where it's supposed to be. He's been talking since morning, and you agree with me that he has contributed a lot. Thank you very much, and God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
And please, my apologies for the mix-up for the beginning of the event. So sorry, sir. At this junction, if you have question, we will come to you, we will take your question, then he will respond accordingly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adewale. Please, I want to implore NIMASA in the sense that is there any way they can make this format in form of application so that maybe anybody can just log in at your own convenient time, not by coming down to NIMASA, show you understand. You know, if you want to do anything outside now, they will tell you you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
You can just pick up your phone, do whatever you want to do. So far, you are the owner of the store. Thank you.
Yes.
There is this question I want to concerning the seafarers. There are many seafarers that I know out there, the good expert one. They are there, but no job for them.
before this biometric or other registration came up, they are like, there's no way for them to, come on board again to do their normal job because of this upgrading your certificate and the rest. So, many of them are having maybe family issues and the rest. So the money you are going to invest on doing your revalidation and the rest are so high to the extent that they cannot even feed their family. So they just have to stay apart. And they love to do this job. If you put them on board, they are there to do the job very well. So how will they now impact the younger ones coming up? This their experience will just die like that without imparting it on other coming up. So we want NIMASA to do something on this for us. And also the fishing sector, they are also there as well. They are without jobs. If this is done, many of them, they will have more employment and they will have enough to feed their family. So thank you.
Question from the audience. Okay, my boss, you can now respond to the questions.
Thank you. To listen to your, I think one of your other PG or whatever, that they believe that when this thing is up and running, you can even sit in a comfort of a, I think, merchant navy officer reps. That is exactly what is going to happen in your phone, provided you have the data and the platform anywhere in the world. Go to NIMASA website, locate where it is, registration, etc. You log in, you can register. That is the essence. Coming to NIMASA, if you are registered with NIMASA now, you become there's nothing will separate you from NIMASA again. So, but again, in a different way. Okay? The essence is for you to sit at anywhere and do your registration. Upload your document, not to come to NIMASA and all of that. So we are migrating to the platform. That's the essence. It will address that. My sister question is about employment. And yes, seafaring training is very expensive, no doubt. Very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. Even as a starter, it's very, very expensive. And those documents have validity, no doubt about that. And just like we point out here that once you're a seaman, experience is experience. And the seafaring profession actually requires that for you to always be up to date in terms of experience on board the vessel or classroom, as the case may be. No doubt about that. It's a challenge globally, and Nigeria is no exception. What NIMASA do, if you recall, is that there are courses we are just doing, the agency is doing its own part as intervening in some of those mandatory. I recall very well, Merchant Navy or maritime workers we do communicate, and then we do make it public. But we find out that we need to understand what is in the need of the industry, particularly some specialized courses that are very, very expensive. I know very well. Very, very like dynamic positioning and so on and so forth. They are very expensive. So NIMASA intervene as part of its own contribution. I also tell my fellow colleagues, when I was there, I know it's a challenge. So once I go, I had an opportunity to go. I also make some room and keep some. As most of the time when I have one-on-one with my colleagues, it's not you go, you finish all and start all over. Those experiences are also there. I also give them advice from my own personal experience. So it's a challenge that is general. We wish on the idea of all our qualified seamen to have and to be on board, always. And the agency is doing a lot of inter-agency identifying those gaps with the Nigerian immigration, with the Nigerian local content, and so on and so forth.
And okay, to the end of the program, thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you again whenever we have such events. I will now invite my boss, Mr. Emmanuel Alfred, for the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, MC. Before I give the vote of thanks, I would like to do a recap for the benefit of those that maybe that came in later, or for the benefit of those that, because of the discussion, might have lost the train of thought. I want to say in summary that the e-platform and the SID is all about electronic operation. That is technology, internet, whatever word you want to use, computer. So you don't need to come to NIMASA head office to do anything. All you need to do is just go online and key in or fill the form or do whatever you need to do. And we at NIMASA will receive it and then process your application. The beauty of this is that if you are in Port Harcourt, the system will automatically direct your application to those in Port Harcourt. They will attend to you there and then all other things will be solved. So you don't need to wait for days or weeks. Just see it as a couple of hours to deal with your issue. So like I said, the summary is that everything is to be done electronically. The only thing that you may need to do physically is during the verification, which we will come to your location. You don't need to move from Apapa to Tinkam anywhere. If you're in Apapa, we will come to Apapa and attend to you. Apapa Port, if you're in Tinkam Port, we will come there and attend to you. If you're in ENL, we'll come there and attend to you. So as you leave here today, kindly tell your colleagues or report to the management that these are the things we said today and that we expect you to get prepared. In fact, one of the things we observed when we were asking for details was that we discovered some dock workers, even seafarers in this modern day, don't have email. If you don't, encourage them to open email accounts, because once you send your form, the reply gets to you either by phone or by email. So it's better you get ready once we start. So I don't keep doing, oh, I don't see my name, oh, they know, we are not, this is electronic. Whatever you key in is what you get. So let's get prepared, for we're already in the 21st century and going to the 22nd century. For those of us that will be alive, if Jesus doesn't come anyway. So on that note, I want to thank every one of us, especially I've been asked to give the vote of thanks. So I'll be doing the voting in stages, just as we do INEC does election, presidential election and the rest of them. So to begin the vote, I want to thank the leaders, the executive, and members of the various associations. One of the things I must thank you for is your timeliness. I discovered that we were prompt to time, and because we are prompt to time, if you look at the program, we are supposed to end by 3 o'clock, but we're already far ahead. I think if we keep this culture, things will get better in maritime industry and in Nigeria as a whole. So let's put our hands together for ourselves for keeping the time. So I also want to thank you for your participation. You know, you have participated actively in this sensitization program, and you've made your suggestions. They are well noted, and whatever corrections or additions, modifications that need to be made for effectiveness, we will do so. Be rest assured of that. And I also want to assure you that our doors are open, our emails are on. If you leave here today and by chance a new idea popped in your head or something you came across, just bring it to our attention, and we'll do our best to give it the attention it deserves. So permit me to thank Stuan, to thank MWUN, to thank registered seafarers employers, to thank Association of Stevedoring Operators, that's NASO. You know, the name, the acronym sounds very homely. NASO. And we want to thank the Association of Mining Agents, Association of Jetty Operators, and we also want to thank all the heads of departments and units that were here. We want to thank our executive director. We also thank the Director General of the NASA for giving the approval for this sensitization to hold. And we want to thank everyone that is present here. I want you to know that today is an historic day, and it's a historic day in the maritime industry, and it's also somehow, some way, a special day for one of our staff. Yeah. Okay, I also want to thank Merchant Navy. I guess some of you that have been receiving text messages and emails, you would have seen somebody's name crossing or sending you the mail. Like I said, today is an historic day in the maritime industry, and today too is also a special day for one of our staff. And for me, I believe that memories are not given, they are created. Yes. You create memories that when you go on, you remember them, you smile and you're happy. And you want to still have the good old days and the good new days going forward. So on that note, please kindly permit me to ask somebody to stand up and we'll just sing a birthday song for her. Please join me, welcome Astra, the special guest today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy memories. Happy birthday to you. For she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. For she's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. Hooray! Congratulations, Astra, and happy birthday from everyone here from the associations. As you can see, the NASO is clapping for you. So, MWUN and the rest of them. Once again, thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you. God bless you and have a safe. Yes, after now, we'll just go for the lunch. And I think for those of us that may want to stay behind, but I will encourage us to go for lunch so that we'll have more energy, to have more engagement. Thank you and God bless you.
May we rise for the closing prayer, please. May we just rise for the closing prayer. Oh God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right. Thank you very much. Johnny Mercy, back to your destination. Bye. Thank you. Lunch is set. Don't forget to have lunch and don't tell us that we didn't serve during our event. Yes.